Welcome to my YouTube Family Revenge File. Please like, share, and subscribe.
I was only 18 when I learned the truth. Every dollar my grandparents had saved for my education was gone. My parents had spent it all on my sister's dream wedding. When I asked why, my mother smiled and said, "You were never Harvard material anyway." Those words broke something inside me. I walked away with nothing except determination. Years later, the same people who laughed at my future knocked on my door begging me to rescue the daughter they always chose over me. What happened next changed our family forever. My name is Ethan. I grew up believing my parents loved my sister and me equally. We lived in a quiet neighborhood where appearances meant everything. My father worked long hours and my mother constantly reminded everyone how important family was. Looking back now, I realize family only mattered when it benefited my sister. She was the golden child. She got the newest phone, the nicest clothes, and every opportunity she wanted. When she wanted dance lessons, she got them. When she wanted a new car at 16, my parents somehow made it happen. Every time I asked for something simple, I heard the same answer: "We cannot afford it right now." I accepted it because I believed they were doing their best. I focused on school and dreamed about attending a top university. My grandparents believed in me. Every birthday and every Christmas, they quietly added money into a college savings account. They always told me, "Education is something nobody can take away from you." I carried those words in my heart. Everything changed the summer I turned 18. College acceptance letters arrived. I was not accepted into Harvard, but I earned admission into a respected university with partial scholarships. I was proud because I knew how hard I had worked. The remaining tuition would come from my college savings. At least that is what I believed. When I asked my father for the account information, he suddenly became uncomfortable. My mother refused to make eye contact. After several minutes of silence, my father quietly admitted the account was empty. I thought he was joking. He was not. Every dollar my grandparents had saved was gone. I asked where the money went. My mother answered without shame, "We used it for your sister's wedding. It was the happiest day of her life. Besides, you are not exactly Harvard material." The room became completely silent. I looked at the wedding pictures hanging proudly on the wall, the expensive venue, the designer dress, the luxury honeymoon. Every beautiful memory they celebrated had been paid for with my future. I asked why they never told me. My mother simply shrugged. "You are young. You will figure something out." At that moment, I realized I was completely alone. That night, I packed my clothes into 2 bags. I left without screaming or crying. I promised myself that one day I would build a life nobody could ever take away from me. The first years were brutal. I worked construction during the day and studied at night. I cleaned offices before sunrise and delivered food on weekends. There were days I survived on instant noodles because I could not afford anything else. Whenever life became difficult, I remembered my mother's words: "You are not Harvard material." Instead of destroying me, they became fuel. I graduated with excellent grades. I found work at a small technology company where I quickly earned promotions because I never stopped learning. Eventually, I started my own business with 2 friends from college. We failed twice. The third company finally succeeded. Within a few years, we had clients across the country. Financial freedom slowly became reality. I bought my first home before turning 30. I never called my parents. Neither did they. Then one rainy afternoon, my phone rang. It was my father. His voice sounded older than I remembered. He asked if we could meet. Curiosity convinced me to say yes. When I arrived, my parents looked completely different. They seemed exhausted. Then my sister walked in. She was crying. Her perfect marriage had collapsed. Her husband had emptied their joint accounts and filed for divorce after years of hidden debt and financial lies. Their expensive lifestyle had fallen apart almost overnight. My parents had spent nearly everything helping her survive. Now they had nothing left. My father looked directly at me. "We need your help." The words felt strangely familiar. Years earlier, I needed their help. They chose someone else. Now they expected me to rescue the same daughter they sacrificed my future to protect. For several minutes, nobody spoke. Finally, my mother whispered, "We made mistakes." I asked one simple question: "Did you ever apologize for stealing my education?" Neither of them answered. Silence became their confession. I reached into my briefcase and removed a folder. Inside was a copy of my first business contract. I placed it on the table beside another document. It was the original college account statement my grandfather had once shown me years before he passed away. I looked at my parents. "Do you know what hurts most? It is not the money. It is knowing that you believe my future mattered less than one expensive wedding. My mother began crying. For the first time she admitted she had always believed my sister needed more attention because she was more emotional. She assumed I would survive anything. She was right, but surviving came with a price. I told them I would never pay for another mistake created by favoritism. However, I was willing to help under one condition. No more lies, no more pretending, no more treating one child as more valuable than another. Months passed before they finally accepted responsibility. My sister found work and started rebuilding her life instead of expecting someone else to rescue her. My parents sold their oversized house and downsized into a smaller apartment. For the first time, they lived within their means. Slowly, our relationship improved, not because money fixed everything, because honesty finally replaced excuses. I never recovered the education fund they stole, but I built something much greater: self-respect, confidence, freedom, and a future nobody could ever spend on someone else again. She assumed I would survive anything. She was right, but surviving came with a price. I told them I would never pay for another mistake created by favoritism. However, I was willing to help under one condition. No more lies, no more pretending, no more treating one child as more valuable than another. Months passed before they finally accepted responsibility. My sister found work and started rebuilding her life instead of expecting someone else to rescue her. My parents sold their oversized house and downsized into a smaller apartment. For the first time, they lived within their means. Slowly, our relationship improved, not because money fixed everything, because honesty finally replaced excuses. I never recovered the education fund they stole, but I built something much greater: self-respect, confidence, freedom, and a future nobody could ever spend on someone else again. Strong ending. Life has a strange way of balancing every decision we make. Money can be replaced, but trust is much harder to rebuild. The people who underestimated me believed they had taken away my future. Instead, they accidentally gave me the determination to create a better one. Sometimes the greatest success is not becoming richer than those who doubted you. It is proving that your worth was never defined by their opinion.